in doing this, we must also acknowledge an uncomfortable past that systematically disadvantaged Black, Indigenous, and Brown people, along with many of our other marginalized community members. Much of the focus and attention has been placed with our Portland Police Bureau, a bureau that has prioritized de-escalation tactics, adjusted their use of force policies, and inserted community accountability in their practices for the last several years. Yet, all of us acknowledge that that's not enough. And while I'm very proud of our Bureau for being willing to adapt, evolve, and embrace reform, I know that we must take actions that reimagine what community safety can be like in our city and boldly face the questions being asked of us by our community. This is the time for us to lean in to change and innovation in the pursuit of true justice in our community. So today, Portland Police Bureau Chief Jami Resch and I have an important announcement, and the chief felt it was important that you hear it from her directly, and I agree. So without further ado, Chief Jami Resch.
Good morning. Over the last 10 days, I've watched our city, I've listened, and I hear you. We have asked our community, I have asked our community time and time again, what do we need to do? And each time we hear them say, show us change. And the Portland Police Bureau has made change. We've made policy changes. We've made changes to our discipline guide. We send our officers to procedural justice and implicit bias training. We meet with community one-on-one, and we meet with community in small groups. But in the words of Tony Hobson, and Mr. Hobson, I'm going to use your words, those are changes, but they are not the change. What PPB has not done publicly is stand up and say we will be the start of the change and take a step towards that change. Yesterday, I called Mayor Wheeler, and I asked him to support me and to support the Portland Police Bureau in being the beginning of the change that this city needs. I believe this change starts with trust, and it absolutely must come from the heart. I have asked Chuck Lovell to step into the role as the chief of the Portland Police Bureau. And for those of you that know Chuck, I don't need to explain to you why he is the exact right person at the exact right moment. But for those of you that don't, I will try to sum him up. And for a person of that caliber, it's pretty impossible. So Chuck is the most compassionate, honest, humble, genuine to the core person. In fact, last week we were talking, and he was telling me how, from a young age, his parents instilled a sense of service in him, and how his entire career has been in service. And yesterday, when I was talking to him and explaining to him why I was making this decision and why I felt he was the right person for this decision, he made a very important statement. He said, I've never wanted to be in the role of a leader. And I said, that's exactly why you are the right person. You never wanted it, you were meant for it. I will not be leaving the Portland Police Bureau. You're not getting rid of me that easy. My position and the logistics of it will be figured out in the next couple days, and that's not important. What's important is we focus on standing beside Chief Lovell and our Portland Police Bureau and our community as we move towards beginning to be the change. As I mentioned earlier, I believe this change needs to start with trust, and it needs to come from the heart. So I'm asking the members of the Portland Police Bureau, please trust me. This is the right thing to do. And I'm asking the community to please trust that this comes from my heart. Thank you.
Chief Resch, thank you for your leadership and the standard that you uphold and the values that I know do come from your heart. I know you've done everything you can to support our peaceful demonstrators while balancing the need for public safety. And I am very grateful to you. Chief Resch has been with the Portland Police Bureau for 20 years. And I want the public to know she has my complete confidence, and she will continue to have my complete confidence in her new role. She's respected, she's committed to the safety of the public, and she's committed to the values that we all share in this community. And she is, without any question, committed to the Bureau. And she is committed to doing the right thing for our community. And when Chief Resch told me that she believed our community needed new voices to lead the conversation around community safety, I agreed. We need her continued leadership in the Portland Police Bureau, and we need Chief Lovell's leadership. Together, we're going to work on meaningful and bold reforms within the Portland Police Bureau. Let me be clear, the need for bold reforms is not new. I know that we must interrupt the system both internally and externally to reimagine what public safety in our community can be like. I additionally know that we've missed talent in promotions and in our succession planning, which is why Chief Lovell has been hired. I am 100% confident that he is the right person for this job. I decided to move thoughtfully in supporting the Chief's decision and in hiring someone who has the experience, the community, the connections, and the community trust to help move us all forward, while knowing that the issues we have are not the Chief's alone to fix. Community safety is my responsibility, and frankly, it's everyone's responsibility. And for many watching this today, this is nothing new, but I want to make sure I'm clearly acknowledging our intentional actions moving forward. A long-awaited shift is happening in our city and around the country, and it's my privilege to work with all of our elected leaders and community leaders and with ordinary folks in the community to put in motion reforms that will serve, that will heal, and provide the safety and the kind of safety that our community has asked us for. Many Portlanders walked through the weekend peacefully uniting around a message calling for us to live up to our highest aspirations, shining a light on the possibility of reforms for the benefit of all of our residents. Yet, I don't want this point to be missed either. We must dive deeper into what those marching for justice and peace are pointing out, that the policies we have must truly serve all of us, that this is a challenge that we must rise to. This movement is about both historic and current police violence, which is real and which has traumatized Black communities all across our country. It's about the criminal justice system that imprisoned an entire generation of young Black men for nonviolent and innocuous offenses, disrupting families and altering life outcomes. It's about our education system, which has not lived up to the promise of community education and preparing our city, our state, and our nation for the future leadership that it so desperately needs. We hear you. We're listening. And we will continue to listen deeply and intently, heeding your advice and to act with a sense of urgency. Together, we've already removed police officers from Portland's public schools and redirected funding towards community-centered investments, helping to connect our Black youth and to further examine and reimagine our safety strategies here in the city of Portland. Each of these reforms directly fulfills requests from the community in Portland, centering the voices and experiences of our Black Portlanders. People have also expressed serious concerns about using CS gas to manage crowds, especially when we're battling the COVID pandemic. Over the weekend, I directed the Portland Police Bureau to limit the use of CS gas to situations where there is an immediate threat to life and safety. My priority is protecting the lives of demonstrators, first responders, and the people who are in custody at the Justice Center. We're going to continue to monitor protest activity and, when necessary, adjust and evolve our responses to provide effective, respectful public safety services. With the murder of George Floyd and the many others that were lost prior, including locally, we must reimagine, reform, and rebuild what public safety looks like, and we must go through this process together. I want Portlanders to know I share your concerns and will move forth with the urgency that you expect. Tomorrow, I will be sharing a larger list of specific reforms that I will be implementing and pursuing. The list includes financial, policy, and legislative items, a combination of actions that I will take as mayor and will take in partnership with other elected leaders. I will fervently support needed reforms the community is demanding in the near term, and I'll be honest and transparent with you about potential trade-offs. Because another one of my values is this: if we're going to do something, let's not just do it so that we can say we did. Let's do it right. Thank you. And with that, we're going to hear from our new police chief, Chief Chuck Lovell. Welcome, Chuck. Thank you. Sorry.
Thank you, Mayor. To say this was unexpected would be an understatement. I told Chief Resch over the last few weeks that I would do everything in my power to help her through these challenging times, and that I'd be at her disposal to help lift her up and help her be successful. As we spent a lot of time cultivating community partnerships, relationships, having conversations, talking about the future, she asked me, she said, when you're in this position, the only thing that matters is doing what's right for the Bureau, doing what's right for the community. And that just kind of gives you a sense of what a selfless, caring leader she is. I don't know if I've worked directly for anyone who cares more about the people in our organization or the people in the community. So I want to thank her again. This is going to be hard. I don't have any illusions about that. But meeting every day at Revolutionary Square and marching into downtown Portland, standing up against injustice, that's hard too. What Pastor Mondonay and fellow faith leaders did last night, standing at the fence in a symbol of peace, that's difficult also. It takes courage. With the community members on the inside of the fence, the ones wearing patches that say police and sheriffs, what they do every night, believe me, that is difficult as well. It takes courage and it has a toll. We have to remember, when they don't have those uniforms on, they're our community members. They're sitting next to us in church. They're dropping their kids off at the same schools our kids go to. They're behind us in the line at the grocery store. And we can never lose sight of the fact that there are way more good police officers than there are bad ones. I've spent a lot of time working in inner Northeast Portland throughout my career, Jefferson High School, and then back to Northeast Precinct. And I've spent a lot of time with community, listening, going to meetings, talking, just really trying to build relationships and have connection. And one of the things that's always stuck with me is I've always heard kind of a feelings conversation, especially from the Black community. It was something always to the effect of, we don't feel like you love us. We don't feel like you treat us the same. And in our police world, the language we speak is really drenched in policy and things of that nature. It's stuff like, there's an ongoing investigation, we can't tell you anything, or we have data and stats that tell this story. And I always felt like we left there missing each other. The community left feeling unheard, and we left wondering why. I wonder why they weren't able to see things our way. I think one of the most important things we can do as an organization is to find a way to convey to the community our heart. Let them know that we are here to serve you. We took an oath to serve and protect you. We love you. We fall down sometimes. We need to learn how to get better together. We need to stand by each other in that journey. When I watched the video of what happened to Mr. Floyd, I remember the big takeaway I had. I mean, as I watched the agonizing minutes tick by, it wasn't the tactics, it wasn't the number of officers there. It was really the lack of care and compassion. And that's what stuck with me. And the thought that that's an idea that could exist that almost felt like you're not important. And to me, the fight is not with each other. The fight for all of us is against that idea that people, institutions, agencies, you name it, can harbor that feeling in our hearts, and it has bad outcomes for people. So that is the true enemy. That's what we should all be united fighting against. I am so honored and humbled that so many people came out when it was somewhat short notice and there were some logistic issues and we're in a pandemic to show support. Folks here who have dedicated their lives and done so much to help youth of color in inner Northeast Portland, Donald Dixon, Jefferson High School, Tony Hobson and Libra Ford, SCI, Self-Enhancement Inc., Joe McFerrin, POIC, Rosemary Anderson High School, thank you. Legends in the community, icons, Ron Herndon, Marta Guembes, Antoinette Edwards. Friends and colleagues, people I've worked with, dreamed with, tried to do things to make the community better with. Dwight Holton, former U.S. Attorney, currently CEO of Lines for Life. Nike and Herman Green, fixtures in the North Portland community. And great command staff that I have with me have come out to support me. It means a lot. We have a lot of work to do, and we're gonna get busy doing that work. But I don't want to have too many words. I just wanted to share some things that were on my heart. Let you know I'm humbled. I'm a public servant. I'm going to show up every day with a servant's heart. I'm going to give the best service I can. I'm going to listen. I'm going to care about the community, and I'm going to care about the people in the organization. And all I can do is be me. And I'm looking forward to this journey. Thank you.